Hello, My La Paz is pleased to present this video annual report of our activities for the last 12 months. It provides a brief overview of My La Paz, current projects and plans, a financial snapshot, needed support, and special recognition to our partners. In 2016, our organization evolved as we learned how to better address the unique challenges in Paz County. We were founded on September 3rd last year as Courtside in Motion, achieved 501c3 approval several months later, then legally changed our name to My La Paz to better align with our mission. There are very limited opportunities and serious social challenges for youth in our county. Most live in relative isolation in the harsh environment of the Sonoran Desert and in very low-income households. Paz County has 22 communities spread across 4,500 square miles of desert. 15 of those communities have populations ranging from just 15 to 600. That's only 4.5 people and less than 1 child per square mile. Based on state data for subsidized meals, 95 to 100% of those youth in most towns live in low-income households, many without any means to participate in programs or socially connect with others. We certainly do have some very unique and difficult challenges, but we believe they can be overcome. With the support of a good team and plan, we believe it is possible to create new programs, activities, and social connections in all our communities. We would like to offer a special thank you to both the Industrial Development Authority of Paz County and Cactus Intertie for making this year's program possible to launch, and also to the many other team members that will be mentioned in this report. We do believe it is possible to change the game and open a door leading to new opportunities and a feeling of belonging throughout the county, regardless of income level or location. In 2016, My La Paz launched programs in 7 towns and plans to expand that to 14 towns next year. We are now seeing growing excitement with success in several new programs that we'll discuss in this video. This year's activities centered heavily on the ARISS program, which united individuals and organizations throughout our region. ARISS stands for Amateur Radio on the International Space Station. It involves the American Radio Relay League, NASA, and AMSAT. It's a program that lets students experience the excitement of amateur radio and science by talking directly with crew members of the International Space Station. Each year, ARISS selects just a handful of locations across the nation, and our application for a group of towns in Paz County was selected. At the core of this project is our team's educational plan that we titled Radio and Space Science 2016. That plan has already delivered 15 new programs for hundreds of students across our county and is still underway and expanding. The program explores many topics, trying to help each child find that individual spark that will lift them up and inspire them into learning. What are the students experiencing and learning? To think, understand, and be inspired by the power of education. To explore and discover how radio science makes the impossible possible and how it benefits human society. To take their minds deep into space research and all the wonderful discoveries being made and waiting to be made there. They are learning about science, technology, engineering, and math to help them understand the world around them. They are developing important life skills that they will need as they prepare to enter their adult lives and careers. What makes a good program for our youth? There are as many individual answers to that as there are children. Our hope is to deliver experience to help each of them discover what makes their imagination take flight. ARISS has helped us to move closer to this goal with structured lesson plans, creative ideas, and many resources to help deliver successful programs. Here are some highlights of recent activity. Here, students participated in learning activities in radio science, amateur radio, and space research. This included many activities for students of all ages, both in science and creative expressions. Here, youth made space nebulas in a jar at the end of a science lesson about deep space communication and discovery. Here, children learn about lunar science and the phases of the moon, while also creating a very delicious snack. Teachers throughout the county are mixing science, art, and discovery with curiosity in the projects they chose for each of their classrooms. Some teachers even encourage youth to identify their own interest in space science and then arrange lesson plans, books, and special classes for them on those topics. Youth learned about space missions of the past and future and studied the universe. Here, students are attending 8 weeks of after-school classes to prepare for their amateur radio exams. Participating schools had the access and freedom to choose from a wide range of lesson plans they felt would best motivate their students. Interest became so high that we had to launch several unplanned 8-week summer classes like this one for youth living in Vicksburg, Wendon, and Salome, Arizona. These school programs began in November 2015 and will continue through this December, and we kicked off the year with a very special event we called Radio Science Day. It created a very special, one-of-a-kind hands-on experience in radio science. Radio Science Day brought together more than 300 school students from 7 towns. There were 20 hands-on learning activities using close to $500,000 of radio science gear. We offered 4 sessions through the day, 3 were for school students, and 1 was open to everyone in the community. It required a lot of great volunteers and support from our school superintendents and teachers. At Radio Science Day, every student could get on the air, experiment with solar energy, practice Morse code, and interact with electronics. They tracked rescue beacons, learned about amateur television, studied battery technology, and how amateur radio saves lives. They learned about radio communications, how radio science teaches us about our universe, and the many ways amateur radio can serve their community. This was all made possible by everyone coming together to make a difference, including a local amateur radio club and an ARRL specialty convention. Dick Thompson, head of the Courtside Amateur Radio Association, was an inspiration and supporter in everything we did, and the leaders of the QuartzFest ARRL convention pulled out all the stops to make things happen. We want to recognize the leadership of Heather Caton from the World Genesis Foundation and 3 other QuartzFest leaders, including Gordon West, Neil Hayes, and Tracy Lanacher, who made this event really take flight. Our first students tested for their FCC licenses at QuartzFest 2016. Here youth from 4 towns received special recognition from Gordon West at QuartzFest. What does it take to get an amateur radio license? Well, a little hard work and a lot of fun. Youth typically had to complete 8 weeks of classes and then pass an FCC radio license exam. Students participating in each town received a lot of benefits and support, including free classes, study guides, handouts, and license exams, and passing students also received a free dual band radio, award certificates, and their first electronics kit to make their own call sign name tag. Here's a quick introduction to some of our new amateur radio operators. Kevin, Angel, and Monica from Vicksburg, Arizona with their mentors at the Centennial Library in Salome. Sarah with her proud parents after passing her FCC Technician Class license exam. Amateur radio is even more fun as a family event, and here 4 families in Blythe celebrate passing their exams all together after classes at the Desert Learning Center. Here are Heather Caton and Dick Thompson with new ham radio operators in Quartzsite. At the Ehrenberg Elementary School, instructors Heather Caton and Alice Dean celebrate achievements made by new ham radio operators from both Ehrenberg and Blythe. Here, examiners Mr. Lee Latte and Mr. Dick Thompson congratulate Carl and Gracie after passing their exams. And here, families from several towns gather for a summer picnic to recognize and celebrate the achievements of several new amateur radio operators. Members from the Ehrenberg Fire Department, who hosted summer radio classes, stand with 5 new amateur radio operators from the area. And just across the Colorado River, 2 students from Blythe celebrate just after passing their exams. 34 students in 7 towns now have their FCC licenses, and with the new school programs now starting, we expect that to possibly double by the end of this year. Students and even teachers are getting their licenses, learning and having fun, and want to continue. So how do we keep the excitement going? Well, our youth had a solution that is already underway. They started a new youth-led project to keep it alive by establishing the new Arizona Amateur Radio Association, also known as AZARA. AZARA is unique because it extends beyond amateur radio and into all radio sciences and space research. Why mix? Well, when it comes to motivating and sparking the imagination of youth, the combination of the 3 are more relevant today and also very powerful in inspiring young minds. For example, they combine to make it possible for us to explore the unknown, discover new worlds, and push the boundaries of our scientific and technical limits, and then even push further. The combination of all 3 have the power to spark young minds and make their imagination take flight in the most amazing way. Still, the amateur radio license is the required ticket of admission in Azara, but this is where the learning and fun really takes off. From here, they start practicing their radio skills and get on the air. They learn to solder and program their radios. They learn about and build electronics and study how to use local radio networks. They learn about and then lead their own emergency communication nets. They learn to build electronic kits and study amateur radio frequencies and bands. They study the electromagnetic spectrum and how radio waves travel around the world and in space. And at every opportunity, they sharpen their computer skills. Here youth are designing their own call sign name tag designs while learning how to use Microsoft PowerPoint. They also practiced international Morse code and learned about systems design and engineering, and they uncovered many opportunities to learn valuable life skills like planning and teamwork. Every heart and mind has a different passion when it comes to learning, and we want to help youth find and then fuel their own individual interest areas. One thing we do is to help them practice Imagineering, challenging them to imagine an idea for a project, and then guiding them through the process to learn about it and then create it. Presented here are just a few of their creative ideas they imagined that they are already bringing to life for entry in an upcoming science fair competition. Youth turn their interest in aerial drones into a series of classes on the radio science that makes the global positioning system, radio remote control, and remote video transmission all possible. They can even receive their Azara drone's pilot license, but first have to study and pass multiple exams, many on the air for each of these areas. Azara also emphasizes the importance of balancing education and the development of life skills in all its activities. Youth are also taught the importance and given opportunities to get involved in community service projects. Peer-to-peer teaching and public speaking skills development are also an important part of all these programs. There are many factors supporting our expansion. Our mentors, volunteer examiners, and local amateur radio clubs teach and guide our youth. We continually develop and expand our own structured lesson plans and class materials to make them better, and have designed an awards and recognition system that also motivates youth into further learning. If you wish to learn more, please visit the project website at www.azara.org. With just a wire, radio, and the power needed for a 100-watt light bulb, anyone can talk around the world, and our local amateur radio club members have been making their radio stations available for students to learn and experience this excitement. These club members are also creating both portable and permanent HF radio stations for use around the county. In other areas, several of our towns ran summer school space days for children of all ages. In this photo, the youths display one of several space science exhibits they created this summer for display in the Quartzsite Public Library. Of course, youth in participating schools will all have the chance to observe and maybe even be selected to speak with astronauts on the International Space Station. The Contact Day will be an exciting event filled with a number of fun and educational activities, VIP guests, and of course, making radio contact with the astronauts in space. We also expect the upcoming traveling exhibition of NASA lunar rocks and meteorites to be a big hit in the schools. To survive and thrive in a rural environment with limited funds, we have to do things differently. So one concept we tested was the development and use of portable teaching systems. We wanted to take hands-on learning with the latest science and technology directly to the youth, and our first systems proved to be very effective. The alternative energy and hydrocar systems were a big hit as the students studied, built, and demonstrated a model car that generates electricity from water with no pollution. We also developed a new portable FCC license exam system that helps us quickly complete testing anywhere it's needed. To do this, we partnered with the Laurel Amateur Radio Club, also known as LARC, to administer testing. And we have realized many benefits, including the ability to offer free testing throughout our communities versus what is typically $15 per exam. This saving lets us put 4 students through our amateur radio classes for the cost of 3. LARC also understands the challenges of testing across widespread rural communities and has supported us in other ways, including helping us build a network of volunteer examiners to help make this successful. We are very thankful to LARC for their innovation and partnership. Another system designed by the youth is this rapid deployment radio system. It's perfect for educational or emergency use, fast to set up, includes battery backup, and performs 6 different communications functions. So how do we bring new programs to youth living in isolation and poverty with no resources to travel and in towns without programs and in a way that they can be maintained for the long term? The combination of our portable AstroLab and StarNet projects is one of our first and best examples that illustrate a new solution. The AstroLab includes everything students need to learn basics about astronomy and space science. The mix of the AstroLab classes with our regional network combined to create a game-changing moment. After the initial classes, we launched StarNet, a discussion via radio that lets licensed students and teachers connect, interact with each other, and learn while making social connections, even from their own homes when no other options are available. To prepare for the launch of StarNet, youth also used the AstroLab to learn how to use compasses and read star maps to find objects in the night sky. Here is just a first example of how these types of programs can open a door to a new way of connecting, interacting, and learning that can be used year-round, everywhere. On the mornings of both September 2nd and 4th, licensed students and teachers across 8 towns grabbed their compasses, stepped outside their homes, and turned their radios on and eyes skyward with excitement to speak with each other about space science, and then get inspired while watching a 6-minute visible pass of the International Space Station overhead, all from their own homes. And we hope this example is just the beginning of many more. With this approach, we can launch more programs to create new social connections and learning opportunities regardless of anyone's location or income level. Some examples: StarNets, where we explore astronomy and space science, discussing students' projects for science fairs on the air, connecting residents unable to leave their homes with friends and support, youth radio club meetings, getting youth involved in peer-to-peer teaching on the air, friendship chats and discussion groups, expanded emergency communications, and so much more. We believe this approach can create positive, long-lasting change and a new feeling of belonging in our county. To open that door, to change the game, we first must have a strong and reliable radio network. Everything is built on top of this foundation. The first 2 of 5 phases of our radio network expansion will be complete by this November. The remainder will be dependent on both funding and community and organization support. Phase 1 is already in place and operational. We've engaged 8 towns along the Colorado River, including Cibola, Ehrenberg, Quartzsite, and La Paz Valley. This also includes 4 nearby communities in California. In Phase 2, confirmed for November, we will add permanent links for Brenda, Desert Wells, Utting, Vicksburg, and Hope. Then in Phase 3, in the first half of next year, dependent on funding, we would like to add temporary links for Baus, Harkover, Wendon, and Siloam. Then in Phase 4, in the second half of next year, again dependent on funding, we'd like to upgrade those to permanent links and then add temporary links to add Poston, Planet, Alamo Lake, Love, and Sunset. For Phase 5, our hope would be to find a path to integrate Parker, Blue Water, Cienega Springs, and Parker Strip communities schools into the network. The radio network is being designed to provide the highest quality and is using frequency approved by the FCC recognized frequency coordination groups from both Arizona and California. As this network expands, it will continue to create other new opportunities throughout our communities. In addition to education, there could be many other benefits for those who wish to get their license and get on the air, and a few are already underway. For example, we recently launched VetNet to explore opportunities to try to turn around our very serious veteran suicide problem, which in a recent 12-month period reached a staggering 500% of the national average. VetNet mixes free training, testing, and radios for veterans who pass their exams with scheduled radio discussions to help our veterans connect with other vets, have emergency communications when needed, to create new social connections, to provide crisis early warning and welfare checks, and perhaps open the door to engagement in new activities. And we'll take classes and testing, if necessary, to the veterans' homes. The opportunity for our vets to connect, even if only listen in, with other vets, can create a feeling of belonging, support, and a way for others to learn they may be in crisis. Our residents who participate in Meals on Wheels programs face very similar challenges, and as VetNet matures, we plan to test the same program here. As the network expands, we are also watching other opportunities like providing better radio coverage for communications and safety along the new 700-mile Arizona Peace Trail. Azara Youth Radio Club members have joined that team and are already developing and preparing to publish an official guide to amateur radio communications along the Peace Trail. As the radio network expands, so will our ability to strengthen our community's disaster preparedness. When all other systems fail, it will stand ready to serve. The Azara youth are encouraged to get involved in community service activities, from simply observing and reporting for public safety at events, all the way to becoming prepared to serve in times of crisis. Azara youth also organized their first radio science exhibition at a 4th of July event. For the event, club members decided to focus on 5 exhibitions that included telescope stars and satellite flyovers, aerial drone exhibitions, hydrogen water-powered vehicles, VHF-UHF radio operation, and HF radio contacts. This created multiple design projects the youth had to complete, turning one of the club's meeting places into an organized mess. Some of the youth scrambled to build their first portable rapid deployment radio system. And here the youth successfully field tested the system. In just 5 minutes, they were set up and relaying radio signals from Wendon, Arizona to another radio repeater 60 miles away. The Azara youth from 3 towns led this 4th of July event from start to finish, including designing and building all the systems exhibited. They manned the tables, answering science questions and demonstrating their systems while developing their peer-to-peer teaching skills. An aerial drone night flight exhibition set to music and lights introduced the fireworks, and afterwards, the youth led an astronomy program for the families in attendance. In a separate program, children in summer classes created space science exhibits like this one to share with their community at a local library. Azara's certified drone pilots are already providing important community support with free aerial photography and video services. After a recent flood closed highways in one town, Jack, KI-7BFX, piloted the Azara drone to collect 20 minutes of aerial footage of the damage to be submitted to the Bureau of Land Management for future flood risk mitigation. Azara youth from both Arizona and California have also successfully established a weekly youth-led emergency communications net. And recently, one of our new young amateur radio operators, only weeks into his license, was returning home from a weekend trip. His family encountered a flash flood posing an unsecured safety hazard. In this remote area, there was no phone service, but Derek, KM6EJT, had pre-programmed his radio with networks along the route. He contacted a ham radio operator in San Diego, who relayed a message to the California Highway Patrol, who contacted the El Centro Police Department, who dispatched a team to manage the risk. A great job by Derek. Balancing a healthy mind, body, and life is an important lesson for youth, and My La Paz has launched and hopes to expand several new initiatives in this area. Programs have already been started to help youth learn about different cultures, get in shape, and have fun, like here where they are practicing the ancient art and fitness form of Tai Chi. These programs have medically proven health benefits and can help and bring together families and people of all ages for fun and fitness. We believe that empowering healthy living through these types of activities is an important part of any education program. And every program is uniquely designed to fit the needs and ages of all that participate, young or old. And they facilitate activities that incorporate movement, stretch, strength, and flexibility for body and mind within each program. There are several next steps that My La Paz wants to pursue to strengthen and expand new programs in the county. Maintaining programs and radio network expansion are our most important objectives in the next 12 months. This November we throw the switch to permanently connect 9 communities in the region. In 2017, we could extend that to a total of 18 communities in a single network, and by deploying temporary systems, we could even fill gaps in the network while we are expanding. The VetNet program is underway, and as it matures, it will be expanded to support Meals on Wheels participants. Within the next month, we'll be expanding by launching new in-school and after-school programs in Baus, Salome, and possibly 2 other towns. We also want to thank the local amateur radio clubs who are now setting up radio stations in at least 4 towns for the youth to participate in a global amateur radio event this October called JODA. JODA stands for Jamboree on the Air and runs only 3 days each year, and it involves more than 1 million youth and teachers from more than 150 countries. It's an official international event for young people of all ages. Its purpose is to enable and encourage youth all around the world to communicate with one another by means of amateur radio, providing a fun and educational experience and also promoting their sense of belonging to a global community. Youth are also putting their dreams into action by building Azara's first directly interfaced Echolink repeater that will power on next month. It's not intended for emergency communication, but it's a system they can activate with their own radio to then connect and communicate through other radios all around the world. And yes, Paz County has an appointment with space. Hundreds of youth will be on hand for the Radio Contact Day with the International Space Station. Our project called Contact Mission Control is also putting youth in leadership roles to help plan, lead, and report on the entire event. The event will be filled with science exhibits, learning activities, recognition and awards, fun and games, plus several surprise special guests. We'd like to thank the Quartzsite Improvement Association for agreeing to host this event for all our towns. And on January 21st, 2017, teams representing 8 towns will be coming together to compete in a new Science Fair and Field Day event and demonstrating their Imagineering in action. And there are so many more good things to come. As we transition to a financial overview, it's important to emphasize that My La Paz believes that full financial transparency is vital for any 501c3 nonprofit, and we will provide detailed financial and asset reports or inventory reviews to any of our sponsors on request. Here's a summary of how funds were used for the last 12 months by project. Our single largest expense this year was for radio network expansion, representing 44% of expenditures. If we group these into major categories, we can see that the majority of our expenditures, 73% presented in blue, were for fixed reusable assets that will continue to provide benefits for many years to come, including the radio network, portable teaching systems, and the FCC test system. Our disposable cost of 27% included all items delivered to and kept by students, including printing costs, books, papers, patches, handouts, minimal science fair costs, and radios and electronic kits that were given only to students who passed their FCC license exams. In our next 12 months, we hope to find support to maintain and expand our existing projects. Looking forward, we expect network costs to remain a significant expenditure for the next 2 years, and then tapering off only to minimal maintenance, with moderate increases expected in portable teaching systems and disposable costs. We are now at a tipping point that could lead us to a solution to bring new opportunities and support to everyone in our county for many years to come, regardless of income level or location. We are looking for funding and support to continue and expand this program in 2017. Our wish list of projects needing support: for the radio repeater network, to expand the radio network for coverage from 9 to 18 towns by adding a third full duplex repeater site and several fixed and portable radio systems that can be reapplied later for emergency communications. For mobile teaching systems, to build 2 portable HF Global radio stations that can be shared across towns for educational activities and events. We'd like to build 10 electronic toolkits, 1 for each town and school, and acquire 6 electronic circuit design labs to run in classes for use all around the county. And we'd also like to acquire a portable telescope for the mobile astronomy class. For participants in schools, we're searching for funding for class materials delivered to youth and adults, including radios, books, printing, and more, and funding for the Science Fair team competition projects, including 8 teams representing 8 towns. With regards to funding for major events, we're looking for support for the International Space Station Contact Day, both for equipment and awards cost, and for the Azara Science Fair and Field Day. For health and fitness, we're searching for support for a new multi-town teacher certification program, healthy living youth educational materials, and a portable sound system for traveling fitness instruction. Another important My La Paz philosophy is that we are committed to ensuring that 100% of all funding goes to direct benefit of members of our community, and our charter prohibits salaries, travel reimbursements for class instruction, or any financial compensation to any member of our team. We would welcome any support to help take this program to the next level in 2017 and hope you might contact us to learn more. It's been a good year with very real and measurable positive results, with even more exciting programs planned for the coming months and so much opportunity for the future. There are no words that can express our gratitude to the Industrial Development Authority of La Paz County and Cactus Intertie for their support and encouragement that made it possible to even start bringing these new opportunities to life. And to Wilma Matlock and the Desert Waves Amateur Radio Club, whose support created new hope and opportunities for youth spread out in rural communities along both sides of the Colorado River. That hope that wouldn't have existed without their friendship and help. And many thanks to everyone on the team who joined together to leave no child without hope for the future in all of our desert communities. Thank you.